chance to look at the agenda for today's meeting?
Buddy, will you put up his thing for him if he wants to see it? His iPad. Thank you.
We'll just give him a minute to get organized there. Flip it around.
Yes, so we can hold it.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, Larry?
Yes.
Brandon?
Yes.
Mitch?
Yes.
Sure. Yes. All right, appointments. Number 5, auditor. Yeah.
Move to
Yes.
appoint Chelsea.
Second it.
Any other discussion? Not hearing any, Larry?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And yes. Attorney?
Move Lindell Law Office.
I'll second. Oh, go ahead, Brian. Any further discussion? If not, Larry?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And yes. Assessor?
Motion Ryan Oberg with the county.
Second that.
Any further discussion? If not, Larry?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And yes. Vice President?
I'll make a motion for Larry Thomas. I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any other further discussion? If not, Larry?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And yes. All right, city engineer?
I move A2S.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? If not, Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. Fire chief?
I move Clayton Berkey.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? If not, Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay. Portfolio assignments. Street commissioner.
I would really like street commissioner because I pretty much know every street in town. I've worked on every street in town. The last street project, I mean, I was up there like every other day at least, if not more. Talking with the people, the engineer, the contractors, everything. And I think that would be a good fit for that, so.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll make a motion for Larry Thomas to be street commissioner.
I'll second that. Discussion? I do have one thing to discuss. Jamie and I have been working on plans to kind of upgrade some of our street maintenance, with the tarring and crack filling and possibility of future just other, potholes, taking care of those right away. And then possible chip sealing, because a lot of the roads that we're in a cycle of doing street maintenance, over the last 15 years, right? You're well aware.
Well aware.
And those streets that were chip sealed 10, 12, 15 years ago haven't been chip sealed again. So we don't have this revolving cycle of street maintenance. I would like to see us be more involved in chip sealing again if needed to extend life on our streets to help keep this cycle of asphalt repair, if that makes sense.
Street maintenance, absolutely.
Right. And I've talked with Eric about this
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
so that's one area that
Sure.
I'd like you to be involved in with.
Okay, sure, absolutely.
All right. Is there any more discussion? Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right, water and sewer. I took over this, 6 months ago or whatever. I like the portfolio unless somebody else has more experience. I've worked with drainage and everything, water treatments, so I'm pretty familiar with everything, so. I would like to be on the Water and Sewer Commission.
I motion for Mark to be on the Water and Sewer Commission.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Larry?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
And yes. Thank you. Okay, buildings and grounds.
Well, I just assume I'm on it now, so stay on it, so.
Okay, all motion, Buddy.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? Not hearing any, Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay, police fire commissioner.
I can, probably, well, I was on it, but I don't need to be on that one too. so.
Well, the thing is,
Couldn't-
each commissioner should have a portfolio. There's 5 portfolios. I think last time when it was done, I mean, Buddy had 2, which really wasn't the right way to do it. Each commissioner should have one, right? So.
Yeah,
it's
street, water, sewer, police and fire, and financial are the 4 main ones that are required, per century code, so.
So I'll make a motion to nominate Mitch for the police and fire.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? If not, Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay,
I have a quick question. So does that mean that there's a separate county planning and zoning?
Yes, county
That
is separate.
Okay, so that's not, because I was on the planning and zoning before,
Yeah,
so what is the?
that'll be different. And we'll bring that up too, so. when
Okay,
we
so
get there.
what was, can I ask what was done before, I guess? Like, cause that was different.
yeah, Don Simon
Okay,
filled that position. He was
Oh,
on the
okay.
prior
I remember
commission
now.
and he asked if he could stay on that.
okay. Gotcha, okay. I just wanted to understand, cause I was like, it's different.
But we can change that, so if anybody, if you would like, but then you would have to go to,
It's okay, I just wanted to know what it was, cause I
Oh.
was like, I don't remember that part of that, so
okay,
that was just
Sure.
for my knowledge.
that's fine.
So I will motion Char as financial. Cause that would be next.
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Not hearing any. Larry?
Yes.
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 Sure.
Sure.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's the one that's left, so.
Well, there's always
You would
other
be
ones.
really good with your financial background.
Okay. I've seen
Okay,
enough numbers every day.
Airport Authority, I took over that here a little while back from Jamie, because my schedule is more flexible than his was to fulfill that obligation, so I would like to be on that Airport Authority as well.
Anybody else interested in that or? Okay, I'll nominate Mark.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Not Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right. County Planning and Zoning.
So I did talk with Don and he would love to keep it if nobody here wants it, so. And, you know, unless somebody wants to sit here.
I have talked to Don as well, and he enjoys doing it. He's been attending the meetings.
I think he's very good on it.
He's been following, sending the minutes on to Chelsea, so.
So I'll motion Don Simon for county.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right, Forestry.
Is anybody on who's on there before?
It was Jamie.
nobody else wants to do it, I can do that.
Yeah, move, buddy.
I'll second that. Is there any other discussion? Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay. Library?
I was on it. I don't mind being on it if we want to.
Okay. I'll make a motion to appoint Shar.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay.
I would really like planning and zoning, since I know so much about city, I helped write some of that stuff. I mean, I've been on it before and, you know, it's, I think
Shara, you're on it now.
I'm currently on it, yes.
What's your feelings on being
I
on
would
it?
like to stay on it too. Because I am getting better at it. I've actually almost memorized most of our ordinances, so.
Yeah, my only concern is, you know, when it comes to human resources, you know, there's probably three of us that don't qualify for human resources. Those two would be the ones,
I can only have those two.
you know, and then she would have three,
I had 3 last time, I think, too.
you know, and then I would have like none. So, just a thought.
Well, then I'll make a motion for Larry to end planning and zoning.
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? If not, Larry?
Yes.
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 No.
And no. Motion passed. All right, human resources.
Yeah, we can really only have Mitch and Shar on that due to a conflict of interest with family.
Hmm.
So, they're the only two that really can be on it.
I'll motion Mitch and Char.
I'll second that motion. Any other discussion? Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right. Okay, we have two people that have, for public comment. We have DJ and Matt Broderick. DJ there's a conditional use permit that, and then Matt would like to, when the topic of the storage unit comes up, he would like to speak on behalf of that.
They're both pertaining to that, because it's
Yeah.
12B, I think, here. So,
All right. Okay, Chelsea, you want to explain how the consent agenda items fall for the new?
Yep, so consent agenda items are just like our routine things. Instead of making a motion individually, especially like every meeting, we usually have prior commission meeting minutes that we approve, our bills that we approve, and then our financials. There are other things that can go into that if they get submitted, like permits usually that we approve, just routine things that usually get passed without questions. Now, if there is some discrepancy on whether or not they'll get approved, I don't like to put waiver of fees on there because there could be some discrepancy with those. So really the consent agenda items are things, are our routine things that we do every single month, or we just approve them all in one motion.
Somebody want to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items.
I'll second it.
Okay. Is there any discussion? If not, Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right. Okay, number 9, second reading ordinance 181, control of animal and poultry.
I just had a quick question about that, because like, the numbers that we assigned, I gotta go down here and find it real quick. Where it has up to 8 to 10 chickens without a license and up to 8, ducks would be allowed without a license, and up to 4 turkeys will be allowed. So is that specifically, because it doesn't say without a license? So is it only 4 turkeys altogether?
Yes.
Just altogether? They cannot
Altogether.
have more than that, and they can't pay for a license?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I wanted to clarify,
Yep.
because I don't remember that in the last one, so, okay. That's good, thank you. Just wanted to clarify.
I'll make a motion that we bypass the reading of the whole ordinance and make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So do you have a lot of people that want ducks and turkeys?
We have some.
And more chickens? Because it was, what was it before? I don't remember what it
It
was.
was 4
before.
chickens, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, beforehand.
So when you say some, is it like 2 or 10 or?
No, I think I've talked to over a dozen residents
Okay.
in the area, so,
It's up to 10 without a license,
8?
up to 8.
or up to 8.
Yeah,
That's chickens and ducks.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm just talking about the ducks and turkeys, not the chickens.
so we had, I think the meeting was with Cheyenne, I think, I can't remember Cheyenne's last name. But
Wolski, yeah.
specifically, she wanted to know about the turkeys and the ducks, because that's what they raise at their place. So at the last, was it 2 meetings ago, or last meeting? So
So we're,
wanna see it on the video.
so we're changing the ordinance for 1 person? Is that what we're doing?
No, she was just at the meeting to ask
Mhm.
clarifying questions.
Okay, just trying to find out.
Yep.
I guess my thought is that would be more for out in the country, but okay.
Did we have a second on that?
Yes. I think
Oh,
I
yeah,
said
She already said.
Okay. Any more discussion?
What was the intended use of the ducks and turkeys?
Bringing it to Century Code, because it was,
I mean,
not
what
really.
is their purpose for raising
Oh.
them?
For the eggs.
and the meat.
Oh,
And
the
the-
meat for the turkeys, but she eats the duck eggs because of her health concerns.
Okay.
But also for the meat and the chickens.
Yeah.
And increasing that too, and as well as the eggs. So the reason why was because there were certain things in the original ordinance that did not have, did not allow for residents to butcher. And so we were bringing it to Century Code, had to remove the word slaughter from that, and so in order for allowing residents to have them for raising their meat and having them for their eggs as well, so.
Any more discussion? If not, Larry?
I'm gonna vote no.
Brenda?
Didn't have a problem with it last time.
What if it gets to be a problem?
Well, this,
We can
This-
always amend it.
Then it
Yeah.
can be
If we-
readdressed.
Yeah, if we need to. If
this
we need
was
to.
supposed to clarify so we don't have a problem. Just to iron out,
Yes.
would you
Yes.
say? Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
and yes. All right. Okay, number 10, ordinance 117A-2, amendment to conditional use permit under commercial zoning.
And that is for the thing down here, correct?
Yeah, so in our planning and zoning recommendations, we'll see a couple down. There are some variances for some like shop condos that want to be built right back here. We don't have a use for these types of buildings currently in our planning and zoning. So we discussed it at planning and zoning, and we decided to add a line under the conditional permitted uses of the commercial section, which makes it odd, but it's for shop units, not for commercial use. That way it allows him to build these. People can buy them, use them what they want them for, but they are not allowed to run a business out of them. They are not livable. But we just don't have the verbiage in there that quite matches to have these buildings allowed back there. So we were looking at changing the ordinance to allow those to be in there with the verbiage of shop units, not for commercial use.
And that's the recommendation by planning and zoning, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 117.
Second. Or the changes to 117, right?
Yeah.
Second.
Any other comment? Larry?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes. Okay. Waiver, number 11, waiver of memorial building fees for a benefit.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay, number 12, planning and zoning recommendations. A is the Justin Butler variance.
So Justin is the one that is looking at building these shop condos right back here. You can see his paperwork there, and we had a public hearing for those, along with the setbacks for it, with the, I guess, recommendation of planning and zoning to allow for his variances for him to build back here on the lots. They recommended to allow them.
I'll make a motion to approve Justin Butler's variances.
Second that.
Is there any other discussion? No? Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right. And then B.
B is the
Yep.
storage units, the conditional use permit. I did print off a copy of you for you guys to see. This is not the final draft, it is just a rough draft, so I just want that to be clear. They are outside of city limits, but they are in our territorial 1 mile, so it does have to go through our planning and zoning. It is at the recommendation of our planning and zoning to allow for the conditional use permit for these storage buildings to go up.
So it has gone before planning and zoning.
It has gone before planning and zoning, we had a public hearing.
Would,
That is what this
would
map
you
is
like
for,
to
I
come
guess.
forward and speak first? I'm gonna let, since, and then I'll, yeah, go ahead and come forward. Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Tammy Blomhagen. And I'm Lene Ritz. And I understand this. Do you mind if I share a couple
No,
pieces of
that's
paperwork
fine.
with you guys?
That's why you're here.
I had some additional drawings just to kind of show the layout of the land.
Is that the same as this one?
It's a little different, it's
Yeah,
got a little
black
extra,
and white.
as well as we've got a map here.
Oh,
of
this-
how it
This is the
really
seller's
lays out.
realtor that pulled this picture to
No,
show
I've not
the
seen that.
proposed.
Do you have another one for us?
Do you have an extra one
Yes.
so I can have a on file? Thank you.
So we've done some research about a 25 mile radius of the area, looking at storage units and what's available, what's not available. And we found that there's a need in the community for these storage units. It's really, there's hardly anything available for people to rent around here and with the lakes around here. And so we purchased, or we're going to purchase this land if we can build on it. That's the whole point of the permit. And have really been doing a lot of research on what kind of units we would put in. 1 or 2 of the units are gonna be climate controlled. The units are gonna be fenced. They're gonna be fully automated, so people can get their storage unit right from their phone, fill out all the paperwork, they can unlock everything through their phones. It'll be fully automated. It's not something that you entirely see around here. And we're looking at, I know there's been some comments about how storage units look. We're really cognizant of how we're gonna have these storage units look. We do realize that we're next to neighbors. We realize that we've got the interpretive center. We wanna be good stewards and neighbors to the community. And so, we're looking at those things. There won't be any outside parking of vehicles. or anything like that. It'll be clean storage, it'll only be inside. So, you know, we've been listening to what people have been saying, what they've been asking for. And we're really excited for the opportunity to invest in Washburn. We're both from the Bismarck area, but we're up here a lot. I work back and forth between here and Minot, and we're really excited about the opportunity because we know that it'll bring in additional tax revenue. It's also gonna bring in opportunities at the convenience stores and gas money and different things as well in the community. As well, storage units don't bring a lot of traffic, so they're not heavy on the city's resources. You generally have maybe a few people that stop by your storage unit a day. So it's not like something that's bringing in heavy traffic or using up a lot of the city resources, but it is bringing in additional revenue for the city.
Okay, I have a question.
I have
Oh,
a
go ahead,
question,
go ahead.
but, so like, the drawings that are the new ones that show these all look about the same width. So is it still the plan to have these other units that are 50 wide?
Sure, are you looking at this picture?
I'm looking at both,
So
so there's this one here.
I can't guarantee, this is from AI. It's the best that we could do
Okay.
with the renderings because it's not finalized yet.
So it probably wouldn't.
It's
might
gonna
look
be
like that.
more like this
So
map right here,
The
yes.
goal is to have the 4 buildings that are 50 feet wide. Cause there's 4 buildings on the drawing,
There's-
No,
there's
there's 10, there's 10.
but 50 foot wide. The other ones are
Yes,
30 foot
yes.
wide, Right.
14 by 50, yes.
14 by 50. Cause I have,
They're 14 by 50s.
There's gonna be there's probably like 8 different sizes.
I'm talking about I'm not
Right.
talking about the units.
Right,
I'm
but the
talking about the width of each building, cause this says 50 foot and 50 foot for the first 2 buildings, which is building 1 and 2 on this other drawing. And then you have buildings 3, 4, 5,
Mhm.
6, and then down here, which would be
7.
8, 9, and 10. All of those are 30 units, but these other ones are 50 units. I can actually read 2 points.
So Shar, I just want you to know that, like, we're gonna do it in phases, to our plans is to do it in phases. So this will be the first phase,
Right.
and depending on feedback that we get from customers, like this has some larger units. We're thinking about people from the lake, who some of these might be drive-through, or they'll take their camper and their boat, pull it in, drive out, hook up, and leave.
Right.
Okay, and so it's gonna be real convenient for them, but as we get feedback from people, and if some are saying, oh man, we really would like something smaller, when we go into these other phases, we're going to make those adjustments to meet the needs and the requests of people. So I know you wanna know the size, however, it could change.
Right,
depending on
but
that.
that's all of our decisions are based upon what you're presenting. So what I'm saying is that what you're presenting
Yeah,
may not be what you're gonna do.
But I think we discussed in the last meeting.
it
Because
will
it
be,
and
is a
I'm
big
try-
difference,
it's a different
is why I'm
mix.
saying.
It's a different,
I guess my understanding is like, and when we met with, in the last meeting is, this is a conditional permit, request. And then we go into the building permit, which again, then we would need that approval as well with any changes that are made. We haven't finalized this completely, just for the fact of, we don't know if we got a yes or not to be able to build, for us to move the process along, for us to purchase the land and then finalize the details that still have to be approved by the city. So I understand that we don't have everything exact, this is where we are, because that's the phase that I understand that we're in.
And I do have a question about the land, because the land as it is, when I drove by and looked at it, this dips down. This is actually, so in the renderings of the
Yep.
drawings, everything is flush with the road. So I'm wondering, you have to bring that up, and am I understanding that correctly? Because I mean, that's what this shows. So there has to be fill-in, because most of it's marsh right now.
that's
So
in the
the
city.
marsh is in the city portion of the land, not the county land.
Okay, so like this though will be built up to match the height of the road, is that
No,
right?
so like our area here is this is the marshland that dips down.
No, I understand that part, but this part here in the picture is level with the street.
Sure, I understand that.
That's
This
what
is
I'm
probably
talking
gonna have to be leveled here,
Right.
this higher portion,
I'm
to
guessing any
go in
building.
flush.
And then you'll
Any
have-
building will have to go
They-
in
they
That's
should-
flush.
why,
should
that's why I'm
grade.
bringing it up.
Yeah,
They
That's
should,
why I'm
because they
bringing it
will
up.
usually take the
So-
dirt out.
Then you
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
height of the building, which was the whole point that Ashley brought up from the interpretive center, how tall the buildings would end up being.
Right,
So that was her concern, because they are trying to maintain the only historical site we have in Washburn.
sure.
And so that's where there is concern, because it's like,
But this
They
will
won't be able to be
this will be
seen.
graded down to flatten with where the land is here, to level that out, which is gonna take your height down.
Yeah, I don't
so
think-
don't we have like,
Excuse me.
what was it you were gonna
You
say?
done? Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So on this map here, you've got this little triangle that's in the city.
Yes.
That's the
Is
city.
that also yours?
No,
No.
we're not
Oh,
buying that
Okay,
portion.
I was wondering because it was marked.
Yeah,
That was
we're
my
not,
question.
no,
Okay. Do you own other storage units elsewhere?
we don't, we own rental properties in
Okay.
Bismarck,
I'm just
but we
curious.
don't have storage units right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a need for storage units.
Mhm.
Sure.
People got a lot of stuff.
You can level up
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Well, and we're hoping to take some of the stuff off the streets too.
Right,
Maybe
yeah, that's a
people,
good point.
you know,
But I wanna say something to that, because I've seen a lot of people in the last 3 or 4 months that have been using their credit cards to cash advance and pay mortgages. So how
I
do you
can't
have
speak on
that?
I can't
Right,
speak on
but
other people's
If people
stuff.
can hardly, well, I can, cause I talk to them. So the ones I have talked with, I mean, like, if they can't afford to pay just their mortgage or barely can, then they have to pay on that. But I'm just saying,
That's probably not the clientele that will be renting storage units.
Right. You people come all over here, Bismarck, why not anywhere?
then the
Right.
majority of the people that are gonna be going north are gonna probably benefit the most.
I would say that
assume.
we're gonna get some that are coming from, south, going up to 200 or going over to the
Right,
big
so, or
lake.
going up to Underwood and up
Yep.
that way, so.
Yeah.
Not really coming south.
Even some from the east coming west, because I've known people in Turtle Lake that have rented in this area. And so this.
And I don't think it's a problem per se, because I know that there's a need for storage units, and I think that's a great idea. I'm just adverse to the idea of where it's going, because that's the only historical site we have, it's the only area that's
What
seen.
makes it historical? It's
It's-
an empty lot.
The historical
no, she's
site
talking
that
about
it's
Oh,
affecting
I
it
see, okay.
Yeah.
from 83 on.
But I think that if you take a look at this corner and with this lot still open, you still can see the
When I
interpretive
drove
center.
past it, it's gonna cover the whole building.
You know what, actually, I think, and I mean, I worked in the history of the interpretive center and like remember it being built. But actually, all the trees that are around the interpretive center right now actually cover the interpretive center. Like you can't see it, but what I will say is when you're coming from Minot or you're coming from Underwood and you're coming into town, you've got those tree rows there. But that's the whole reason why you have signage on the highway.
But you can
Is
still
to
see the
still-
building from 83.
But-
So this would be
I don't
covering.
think it's gonna affect that at all.
I think the wonderful
It's
thing is
gonna
there's
cover the-
GPS now and there, people can find it. If they're looking for it, they'll find it.
I think you might even find you get more traffic with people that are bringing their boats and campers, they may not have known it was there.
Possible,
They
possible.
walk
I'm
across
gonna
the
walk
street
in
and
there.
check it
So
out.
there is a petition that has been submitted by people in the community, and that is what I believe.
Yeah, we'll give him a chance to talk.
Okay, so there were people that do not agree with that are residents of Washburn, that they like the idea of storage units, but they don't want it there. So what do they have? I mean, that's another,
And I understand that, but the city since 2011, or the county since 2011, has had the property listed as commercial. So if you have it listed as commercial, but you're not gonna let anybody build on it and bring revenue in,
I
then
think
what's the
that
point of it?
there
Right.
could be people that could come in. I mean, I'm not saying that they
But-
can't be.
But if I say that, how many times how many offers have you had?
Several.
How many
Oh,
Kathy?
not quite that, several.
How many times we've been denied is
Yes.
being able to use our land.
And
To
what
sell
really, you're really questioning these
Okay.
women.
One sec, will you
I'm
state your
Kathy
name?
Summer.
Yep.
And what really surprises me, and I need to know who's on it commercial.
Which I don't know.
It's been zoned on the county level as commercial since the 1980s. That's the only answer I
That's not
got.
what you said last time,
That's
cause
not
you
true.
said it
That's-
was 2000.
Well,
That's what
just
we were,
one
that's as
person
far
at a
back
time.
as the tax record go when they switched over. The county called last week and said that it has been zoned in their system commercial since the 1980s.
Why do
That
we,
is all I was told, that's all I know. Any other questions, you can contact the county.
who is it? Because when I contacted the county, they told me to contact you. When we purchased it in 1998 from Mr. Weiss, it was agricultural.
Yeah, I'm just going based off of what their records, that's what all they were, that's all I said.
Right,
I did not talk to them personally, I was out of the office.
Can we get a copy of that?
Contact the county.
Ready?
Yep, contact the county, Brian will be able to provide it for you.
Yes, please do.
This might be.
Mark, can I
Yeah,
shed
you
a
can.
little light on as far as my 2 minutes?
Just give us 1 second,
Okay.
but I will give you an opportunity to speak. Is there anything else you would like to explain to the commission or any other questions?
I don't think so. I think the big thing is, you know, we're not looking to come in here and like create problems. We actually wanna invest in the community. We're excited for the opportunity and we know that it can bring revenue in. We're not looking at having a junky storage unit. We're not looking at taking away from the interpretive center or people not being able to get to it. I mean, one comment that was made last week in the planning and zoning meeting from the interpretive center is people already know they're coming to the interpretive center. So they're already looking for it. They've already got it figured out on their GPS or mapped out. They already have made that their destination. So I don't feel like we're taking away. We're trying to invest and bring something additional to the community.
I believe Ashley said too that she wasn't concerned about the visual.
That was the first thing she asked about.
It was the first thing she asked, but when she
I
saw
went back
the
and talked with
spacing,
her
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
just
we
to
we
find
talked
out.
with her after and she said that she liked the spacing that we were looking at because people still could like see through as they were driving on the highway.
But that's under the impression that it's gonna be like the drawing. So that is what we're basing it on. Everything is based upon that drawing. So if that drawing changes,
Well, they're still gonna be.
That's
The
a
general
building
layout
permit,
would be
but-
here.
But the
because it
buil-
could technically get bigger. They could be 60
There's still gonna be a
by
spacing,
180.
There's not room for that. Not
But
room
the
for
thing
that.
is that it still has to be approved
Mm.
under our
Right.
building permit.
Your building
So
permit
we're
still has to be approved.
So we're,
Right.
we're not gonna be trying to do something that is going against
It
that.
will be more accurate when we get to
Right.
that stage, yeah.
There are requirements that you have to keep with the height wise of building permits due to the surrounding buildings,
Right,
where you can't go so tall above them.
right.
Mhm.
Just for clarification on that.
Chelsea, what is that height? Can you recall just off the
I
top of your head?
think it's 1.5 of what the buildings are, but I would have to
That's
go
o-
back
that's
and
okay,
read
we
it
can
for
look it
sure.
up, yeah.
All right, if you ladies wanna take your seat, and then if you like to be called back up, just raise your hand. Okay, DJ, you wanna, and Matt, you wanna come forward too?
Are you,
No, I'll let you guys decide on who wants to talk first.
who's he representing? DJ?
He's
I'm against-
talking about,
What are, you're not, is anybody here from the state? Nobody here from the state? Oh, well, I can go first, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just gonna have both of you up here, so.
Okay. Well, just to bring everybody up to speed as far as
Okay,
this,
Matt, will you state your name for the?
Oh. Matt Broderick, Washburn, North Dakota. This is my place right here. All right, back in 1985, I wanted this piece of property. The Dakota Mining Company owned it. They own this entire piece all the way over to the state right of way. There's a state right of way in this corner. And they wanted me to buy it all at the time, and I didn't have the money to buy it all the time, so then they said, all right, we'll call it the Dakota subdivision. And that's what it was called, the Dakota subdivision. I got lot A, this was lot B. Okay, at that time, this entire piece was zoned agricultural. Brad Sheldon was farming it. I bought my piece in 1985, and then from then on, it was called the Nakota subdivision. This portion over here was still zoned agricultural. That didn't get changed. Mine got changed to residential at that time. Okay. Nothing happened till about 1995 to 96, and I started to get a few visits from Mr. Borlaug about the interpretive center being built. Okay, at that time, my place was in the way. That's the way it was stated. They did not even want me there. Okay, I'm in the way. They wanted this entire visual from the north completely open, but it's too late. He couldn't kick me off. All right, so that's when everything started here. And then Kathy said in 1997, I was told the Weiss brothers bought it, and they only had it for a little while. And then Kathy bought it, correct? Or,
Oh,
okay, yes, all right. They bought it, okay. And for some reason, if you go to the county, and I was there last week, the zoning never officially got changed. There's no record of a zoning change from agricultural, none. All right, for some reason, and they can't explain it, for some reason in 1998, it showed up as commercial, okay? And you folks have been paying commercial rates.
Do we get our taxes paid back to us then?
That's beyond me. All I'm telling you is, for some reason in 1998, it got changed to commercial and they can't explain it, okay? And then in 2011, they switched over their computer system. And since then, it's been showing up on their tax rolls, like the sheet that Chelsea gave us last week's meeting. It showed up as commercial on there too. They can't explain that. They have no legal documents that this was ever changed from agricultural. So as far as they're concerned, it's still agricultural. Just for everybody's information in here. All right, okay. That's point number one. Point number two was the visibility from the visitor center, like I talked about before. I think there's a lot of people in this community that would like to see storage units. I really believe that, okay? Hell, I might even rent one, okay?
Right.
But I don't think that's the most favorable spot as far as a lot of people in Washburn to be right in front of this visitor center where they've invested millions of dollars. And there's a lot of people in the community. There's one sitting right there that invested a lot of money into it. If you go up there and you look at the buffalo in the yard, you can see everybody that invested in that. And there's a lot of local people, lots of them, okay? So, and now they're gonna rebuild the fort. And they're gonna invest millions of dollars down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is all playing into this big time. As far as the investment that they made into Washburn, okay? Because I moved here 45 years ago, all right? This town's flagship is Lewis and Clark. I'm sorry, it is. That's what everybody talks about, okay? The school programs, hell, there's people that call their kids Lewis, Clark, and Trail, okay? Because that's how important this is to the people. So I would like to see you folks build storage units. I just don't think you're picking the right spot.
That's what, yeah.
I don't think you are.
That's what I've heard
I
from
think
people.
I'm not gonna give you, I shouldn't be throwing out suggestions, but there's a property right over here called Ames Construction. It's been vacant for quite a while. It's an already developed lot. It's bigger than this. I don't know about this. I don't know about here by the county shop. I don't know if this is zone commercial, but this is not zone commercial. And I'm kind of afraid that when you go to have this zoning change, I think you're gonna have an uphill battle. That's why I asked if there's anybody from the state, because I've talked to the people at the state, and the state is very reluctant to say negative things about what people do with their private property next to state property as long as it's zoned for that.
Matt,
Okay.
will you join us in the seat, or are you
Oh,
done?
I'm gonna sit down over here, I'm done.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying, but if this goes to a zoning change from agricultural to commercial, I don't know how much pushback you're gonna get from the city, but there might be some pushback from the state.
Can I comment on
Uh,
that, please?
Just,
I mean, we have a right to.
no, I'll give you the opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay. These people had signed up to,
I respect that, thank you.
thank you. All right,
So my name is DJ Kozlowski. I'm in the same boat as the gentleman before me. Washburn needs storage units, we all know that, but not in front of the interpretive center. It's going to cover it up, it's going to make crime through the roof. I worked at the interpretive center. I've been by the interpretive center. I've seen cops sitting at the Cinex, staking out the interpretive center. I've mowed around the Buffalo and I've touched the names on the metal. I don't think it's the right spot to put anything. In fact, this is the perfect spot for anyone who wants to come to Washburn and see the scenic view from the north and from the south.
I have a question about one of the statements you made about law enforcement is sat at Cenex to watch the rest area,
Yes.
as in,
Trafficking.
Trafficking. Human trafficking.
We did confirm that, I think. So if you have something that can impact that view, that may need to be considered.
So what my question is, we're gonna have this empty lot sit here for another 30 years because we don't wanna cover the interpretive center?
Well, we don't know that,
To let
somebody
people
could come
invest
in.
in Washburn?
We don't know that. I mean,
Well, everybody's, it's been
I mean, a multi-million-dollar company can come in and build a restaurant there
The
and
point
bring in more people.
Or storage
is
units.
what you provide, because you have signatures from residents in Washburn.
I don't know
That don't
if
want
you
it.
guys got the copies,
I don't think so, because I don't see it anywhere here.
but I have 50 people who have signed.
They have their numbers and everything.
I have majority of the numbers and majority of the addresses on these papers.
There are
And-
a few without addresses and there are a few that aren't legible. That's the only problem
I
with this
can get those
petition.
if we need
There
it.
are bunches of these.
I know where they are, I can get them on there.
Well,
you share
it's
them?
just one of the big things is that with a petition, I guess just for knowledge, their name should be printed and their signature should be there. Their full address needs to be provided as well, so that we know that they are a Washburn resident.
This isn't even actually, there was about 20 other people that I talked with that didn't make it on this list.
Okay,
So if we
but for
need-
future reference,
Okay.
those are requirements for that. We
For
need,
that,
we
okay.
need printed legible name. We
Okay.
need an actual physical address put down that's legible,
Well, and
along with
honestly,
a signature.
Well,
this
we're
was a
gonna- what-
last barrel effort because it was last week when we met, so it was a last ditch effort of people.
Well, what
that
we're voting on
wanted
right
to-
now isn't gonna determine if they're building or not.
It will prolong it, it will create the actual purchase ability
Thank
for them, so that they would be spending their money for what reason? So my point is, why would we want to do that if we don't want this there?
Because there's a lot of people that probably want storage units.
I want storage units, I don't want it here,
Well, some people might want it there.
these people do not.
Yeah, those people, there's more people in this town than just those
There is,
people.
there's 20 other people I talked with that aren't on here. And if we need to get all of them on there, I will, because this is the truth. Washburn people don't want this there.
So I have a question. So, I mean, if it's such a big deal, why didn't the interpretive center buy this land years ago?
That's a great question, and Ashley said she didn't know when I asked her last week at the
Had
planning
the
and zoning
opportunity
committee.
for a long time.
She
Yeah.
said that she would
Long
make a
time.
call and find out, but she doesn't know.
I mean, they've
This has
had
been
the
for-
opportunity.
This has been for
That's
sale
right,
for a long
it
time.
is the perfect
Yeah.
opportunity, and we should look into that, if anything. If they wanna continue doing something, but it's the only historical site that brings people to Washburn, besides Fort Landon.
And it still will, it's still there.
True, but it's not gonna be seen. It will be covered up because it's gonna be raised up and then it's gonna be taller than that building because it goes downhill. So if you stand there or drive around, I drove all around that whole area and I tried to stake it out and figure it out so that I knew exactly what I was talking about.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, it's not realistic to put it in there and then have people be like, oh, I saw that, yeah.
Well, I'm not disputing what you're saying, but when whatever construction goes on, they're gonna have to go in there and level it, get it prepped. It's gonna make a big difference,
A big difference, yeah.
so.
Can I have an opportunity to?
1 second, sir. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna let Kathy speak, since,
I'm
I will have them, my representatives.
Okay.
representing.
Okay.
okay, sure.
Hi, my name's Clint Phelan, and I'm with Broadway Realty. I'm the broker that's representing the Summers
Okay.
in their sale. And I made this map that I handed out earlier. You had some questions that I think this map maybe addresses just a little bit. I tried to blow it up a little better. So to start out with, sitting through your meeting, I heard a couple people take oath of office. And I heard the Constitution mentioned, and I heard the North Dakota Constitution. And the fact of the matter is, that property, if it's not zoned commercial, then I think the city of Washburn and McLean County are gonna be in a little trouble at the Summers, because we were told, and we have tax statements and paperwork, that the whole time, or a great portion of the time they've had it, their taxes went up, and that's when they noticed, well, because it's zoned commercial, that was the reason for raising it. So,
But there could be issues either way, right?
so I don't believe there is issues. It's zoned commercial. The Summers have a property for sale. We have 20 or 50 people. Where are they? There's been 2 public hearings. Where are they? They had an opportunity, they had a constitutional right to come to this building to comment.
That's what this is for, because otherwise people don't have a voice. If they don't have something to say, I did this, that's why we accept petitions, so that people in the community are heard. And that's why we're supposed to bring them here, so that people know this is what the will of the people in the Washburn area want. So I think it's important for us, if we're gonna be here, that we have to consider what the people would like in the area. And it's nothing to do really with not wanting this business, especially because people do need it and they want it, but it may not be the right area.
So I'd like to take back to that area, because I, in my opinion, question your ability to decide if this is the right place or not. You have some people that are proposing this, that are going out of their way to try to make it appealing and to fit the area. They have their buildings situated on the property that they can be looked right through.
But that's conditional.
Okay,
It's not really
okay,
set
it's,
in stone.
so you have another bite at the apple with a building permit. Hey, this isn't anywhere close to what you brought. This is gonna be a conflict. The state of North Dakota was at a previous, they had a representative at the previous public hearing. I don't see anyone here tonight. In fact, we went out of our way to exchange contact information
With the county.
prior with the state of North Dakota. Prior to this meeting, we wanted an open forum of any grievances they might have, if there'd be a chance for the buyers to be able to work through any of those, so there wouldn't be any conflicts. But it's been crickets. We haven't heard anything back. Nobody's made contact. Nobody's here tonight.
So I have a quick question. Because, just because I don't recall it being stated, but you are the realtor, is that correct?
I'm-
For the property that's being brokered.
That's being sold, yes.
Right. So, and what is your name? Just so I know.
Clint Wheeland, I said
Okay,
before. yeah.
sorry, I just trying to make sure. So, can you tell us who that is that it was here and represented?
I guess I
Because the
didn't,
county-
I guess I didn't catch her name, but I believe she runs
Ashley.
No,
Ashley.
Ashley is from the Interpretive Center.
Right, that's who we're
Ashley.
talking about.
She's
that's
an
not-
employee of the
that's
state of
not
North
from-
Dakota, right?
That is not though.
She was
She
meeting
was
with,
through the interpretive.
But she is not the representative
she
for
was meeting with her bosses the next day.
the next day.
She,
Right.
she took
I
it,
spoke to her though,
okay,
3 days later. So that's why I'm saying they are looking into this because they know that they're being questioned why they haven't purchased it.
But if they
So-
were looking into it, why aren't they here tonight?
so that's,
I don't know.
that's
I
my
can't answer that.
counterpoint is,
I just know that what people have talked with me about since last week.
they
So
know that there's a meeting tonight and they didn't show up.
they gave us this. So
The
they're,
state did?
the residents of Washburn did.
But the state, and I heard brought up about, well, why didn't the state buy it? The state has had, I've been representing this property for a while,
Long
and the
time.
state's had more than enough opportunities to purchase this. They don't seem interested. We talk about all the millions of dollars that have been invested and the future millions that are gonna be invested. I think the dollar amount that the Summers are looking for this property, if it's gonna bother your multi-million-dollar investment.
Hasn't there been other offers though on the property from like,
So,
is it
so,
Mark, actually the neighbor who actually purchased that land, didn't he try to purchase that land? Isn't that,
not while I was representing it,
okay,
no.
so, and Mark actually, are you, it is Mark, right? Am I
Matt.
saying it? Matt, sorry, Matt. I was looking for your name, Matt, okay, sorry, I was trying to remember your last name, forgive me.
I think though, some of this historical stuff that we're talking about, who and what, that was then, this is now. We have a commercial property. It was actively promoted for sale and nobody was interested, nobody called. The couple that did call got feedback that we don't want that here. So, and that was just a phone call or two that the other people made, they got cold feet and walked away. These ladies have gone through the due diligence and have spent a lot of time. I think the first discussion with Tammy goes back to probably December or January. So, I mean, this isn't just a slam dunk, we're gonna see if we can make this happen. They have gone out of their way to try to figure out exactly how to do this right. We've gone out of our way to try to have an open dialogue with whatever issues there might be. Some of the discussions I've heard about it being low in here and all this dirt work, it's actually a very nice level lot. That end down here isn't, but the end is not part of this discussion. So this angle at the end is not part of this sale
It's
or
not as
discussion.
flat as you would think, because it goes from 83 and it goes downhill from there. So when it's raised, to be at this area where it shows.
So we're talking about, I don't think that these ladies have any clue of what their elevation of the ground is gonna be. Instead of, it'd be a lot cheaper for them, instead of importing a bunch of dirt, they've got a large piece of property.
That's not what depicted here, is what I'm saying. What's depicted here is not what's being represented
So,
Yeah, but
That's
excuse
the
me,
so there's,
If I may,
It is.
you know, we just
Yeah.
keep hashing back and forth,
Yeah.
the same thing, we need to move on. I mean, it's just same thing, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
I
mean,
wanted
we
to
can
give
move
him a
on.
chance to speak.
I know, but,
Let's move on.
wow.
thank you.
All right,
So I have a question. So there was a
yes, Larry.
hearing with planning and zoning,
Yes,
and they recommended it, correct?
correct.
Last Monday. But they were not aware that this property is not zoned commercial. They were not aware of that because Kathy and I discussed it in the meeting. I asked her if she ever went to a meeting where it was changed and she said no, and I never went to a meeting where it was changed. That's why I went up to the courthouse and checked.
Got
There
it.
is no legal documents at the courthouse.
I understand
that
that,
says
I
it's,
understand that.
Yeah.
The thing is though, you know, the records show it as commercial and that's what we have to go by, what the records say. If there is a discrepancy, then they're gonna have to deal with that, you know? But I think, in my opinion anyway, we have planning and zoning for a reason. They had the hearing, they did their due diligence, and they recommended it. In my opinion, we need to approve it.
Okay, I have one more comment. So I did visit with Matt earlier today. He explained, I did call the county, Todd Schreiner. As far as the county's concerned, it's commercial property. So that's what he stated to me. Because they go back as far as they can go, and it's been commercial for approximately 30 years. Approximately.
And
So-
they have paperwork to verify that?
No, but that's,
There's a big trouble.
Well, like I
yeah,
said,
but
that's
that's,
up to them to figure out.
that's an issue that they have to deal with. Not, we can only go by what documentation we have, as Mr. Thomas stated, so. Just so we're clear.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion?
Because for the setbacks, I mean, they're gonna be building a fence right up against the trees, basically, 15 feet away.
Fences can go up to the property line.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, yeah, they can go up to the property line,
It's
fences.
right up against Broderick's trees.
I don't know.
No, how many feet away is your trees from your property line?
Not sure, that's been 30-some years ago, not exactly.
40 years ago.
I don't know exactly where that line is.
Yeah.
It's outside of my trees, I know that.
Yeah.
But I don't know where it is.
Kathy had her hand up.
I was just gonna comment, according to the records, if the trees are above the end of your lot.
Yeah.
And then that's a nice flat area for quite some distance,
Mm-hmm.
that's where they want to work with. And I completely promote it because it absolutely did not obstruct the facility. That's all I have to say, thank you.
Thank you. All right, any more discussion?
So we have a motion and then we have a second.
Second.
And then it was going down the line, right?
Well, then I have to call for the vote.
I'm just wondering if that's where we're at.
Yeah, if there's no more discussion. I'm not hearing any. Larry?
Yes.
Brad?
No.
Yes? All right, we're gonna move on. Number 13, North Dakota State Fire and Tornado Fund Renewal.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I had submitted what I have received. This is, I guess, just standard, nothing really changed for our fire and tornado policy for this year. If there's any, I guess, questions on it or differences on it that you guys do have, I can try to answer those or get those for you from Jesse. But this is what we have for our commercial building and personal property and our renewal.
Is this an increase or is this just the payment? That is the payment that's due?
Yeah, this is our payment due for the next year. Yeah, we had another bill, if you did see it in there, of a little bit of an add-on, and that was because we add the tar wagon onto our insurance for the month that we have it.
Oh.
We'll see a little bit of a tiny increase for the mastic one too when we receive that, just so we're covered in the case of anything. But no, this is our standard yearly premium to go for the next year, the end of 26 into 27.
Is this basically the same as last year?
Yeah.
A motion to approve.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right, school siren,
So I noticed about a month ago, maybe a little longer, that school siren is not working at all. We did have some repairs done to it. I believe it was last summer or the summer before. We did the quick, easy fix of it. The guy came and took a look at it, so I just presented, you guys all have the email from him. Going through, I guess, the different changes that we can do. There is no power to the siren, so we still will probably have to get an electrician up there. But we have 3 different options of what we can do to fix the siren. If we want to replace that rectifier and the controller with the battery backup, that's at $13,885. We can replace the rectifier and controller without the battery backup, and that's $8,600. Or only replace the rectifier, and that's $4,900. Do know that these prices are only parts, no labor. And he did tell me too that the estimated lead time on equipment right now is 8 to 10 weeks. So just something to note on that too.
should we reach out and try to get a second quote?
We can, I don't know of anybody else that works on these, do you?
There used to be somebody in Underwood, but there was an electrician that used to repair ours in the past. I can't think of he was the fire chief way back when.
Yeah, but he's an electrician. This is,
Yeah,
you
I
still
know,
need an electrician.
true,
You know, these are the components, not.
yeah, if I recall back in the day, he would replace parts as well. But I'm just saying, do we want a definite estimate and not an estimate that's unclear on what our total expense is gonna be? You know what I mean?
Well, it's I can get a more accurate quote.
Yeah.
Once we know which way we wanna go, because then he can
Okay.
estimate it of what it's going to be. I mean, right now he doesn't know what option we want, but he did say that he can give a more estimated.
Yeah.
Or a better quote once he knows what route we wanna go, because that he'll, take into consideration his labor
Sure.
when we decide which, or you guys decide, I guess, what we
Yeah.
wanna go.
I mean, being careful on what we're spending on taxpayer money, I'd like to know more of a definite amount that we're gonna spend. I do agree that it's a definite need. Our sirens are, in the time of need, we want them to be working properly, so.
I have a question though. I mean, it says replace rectifier and controller without battery backup. Does that include a new, cabinet too then? I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't say that, but he recommends a new cabinet, so.
Right.
But then, one of them's only replaced the rectifier. Is the controller part of the cabinet? I don't know.
Yeah,
I think he could narrow it down. I mean, I would think replace the rectifier and controller without the battery backup would be the way to go. But but is the cabinet included? That would be my question.
Right.
You know,
and that's part of my statement is, I would like to see a little bit more definite of a quote. And then we have to figure out, an electrician and what that cost is gonna run us, so we know what
'Cause
we're.
he says at the end of this email, once you choose the route you want to go, I can provide a more formal quote if needed. So, if you guys choose an option, I can tell him and get a quote, I guess, and send it off, but I didn't know
Then he'll
what
explain more what he's gotta do or what he's
option.
gonna do.
yeah.
Does
You
the
guys want to
ECI
go?
come up here and PM these things, or is this just as needed?
I think it's just as needed, because I noticed it was out and then I know we had maintenance done. Like I said, it was a year or two ago and we went the easy route, the cheapest route. And now we're having issues with it again, so I don't know if we're gonna continue to have issues
I
or,
wouldn't do batteries, nobody's gonna maintain them.
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't do batteries
No.
then if nobody's gonna maintain them.
Right, yeah, I agree. I would recommend get more prices on number 2, and see if that includes the cabinet and then
I
You know,
agree.
I mean, this guy obviously can't give us a electrician's price.
Right.
You know, but, I don't know. That's my recommendation anyway.
Get a more formal vote on
On two.
two?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can do
we'll,
that.
we'll bring it back at the next meeting. That's all right?
Okay.
Everybody in agreement?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, quality asphalt quote.
Oh, I'm here. So we did tarring on Fifth Avenue, a couple weeks ago. And, there's a dead end on the very top that is in extremely bad shape. We blew it out. There were too many cracks to put crack filler in it. So I reached out to Eric, who then reached out to, Darren from Quality Asphalt. And I think the quote that we got, is for edge milling and, 1.5-inch overlay, is that right? Yeah. Just to get an idea of, like a cheap fix to that road. And that price was,
$23,062.50.
right, obviously isn't cheap, but it's cheaper than replacing the whole road, I guess. Unfortunately, it's just, it's too far gone for us to personally do anything to it at this point, so.
At what point are you talking, just where the crest goes down or all the way to the end of
All the way from
the end of the?
Third, from the intersection,
Okay,
I'm assuming, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, that was from the Third
From the
Street intersection all the way down to the end.
Yep.
and we also have a sewer line issue, it's a private sewer that's in the street, I believe. That
It
they're-
crosses eventually,
Yeah, they're worried about elevation, that it's too flat, that it's not draining properly. So would that be on the homeowner then, if we were to dig up the street to check elevation and then
Well,
any changes there?
it's a difficult situation because it's unique. To provide context, I guess, there's two houses up there that are tied into a common private line that then meets, the sewer main going down Third. They've had some blockage issues, but,
Have you cambered it?
they had it cambered.
If you haven't.
Not since then, no. Yeah, I don't know, it's hard to say who's responsible for it in the end, I guess, I don't know, but I was always told it was a private line. So, and obviously this quote does not include digging up the street at all, so if there's to be replacing of a line, it becomes significantly more expensive.
You know, I did talk to the property owner on the end, and he said if we were to dig up the street to do the asphalt repair, he would be interested in, getting that sewer line fixed.
Okay.
And I told him that it's a private line, so possibly it could be at his expense to change the grade of that property line. Cause he's concerned that it's running too flat, and if you get any solids in that line, and then it starts backing up.
Well, when you replace like, water and sewer lines under this street, it gets specialed out to the homeowners. Especially like water and sewer goes direct and then
Right.
So
Yeah.
it would be both of them would get it, so
Sure.
probably.
Yeah.
So I'd say, it probably wouldn't hurt to talk to the other ones.
Mhm.
There was one other one, but yeah.
Yeah, the other one, yeah.
So there's some discussion there that needs to happen.
Yeah.
And would this asphalt repair be done this year then?
It was just
Proposed.
mostly just a fact finding thing
Okay,
to bring it here.
I think Darren priced it to do the work this year.
Yeah, obviously it's priced for now,
great.
and we, this is the company we use for our patching too, so. So we will have them in town eventually. Usually it's in September or October. But something to think about, you know,
So this would be, this, if we do the asphalt, that would be special out, is that correct? I mean,
I would assume,
I would assume, right?
you know, it's not a complete fix, but also there's only really 2 people that drive on that road, or that road to begin with, so. Even,
And the garbage truck,
and the garbage, yeah, sure.
that's the bad part.
Yeah, that is a good point. But this makes it more cost effective. Obviously, we can look into what it would cost to replace the whole thing. And that's gonna be, I'm assuming, cost prohibitive for them, but so that's why we wanted this.
Do we have enough time to, talk to those property owners about this sewer line issue and
It's
then?
not, not required to pass it, like I said, it's just bringing it to give you guys an idea, so.
Okay. I propose that we bring this up at the next meeting.
Okay.
And then, Larry and I could talk about, he can look at the street and I'll look at the sewer and we'll try to contact the property owners up there that would be affected by this improvement. Sound all right, Larry?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So we're gonna move on if everyone's okay with that. Okay, number 16, funding for Riverside Park Road improvement. Come on up, Larry. Okay.
Yeah, so, I guess, I haven't met you yet, but Larry, Lots of Lakes, nice to meet you. I know Larry already, so welcome to the city commission. So I guess, that item on the agenda is on my report too. It's the lead and copper rule, piece of it. So we went out and got funding for the city, through the state to replace lead service lines. There's a new lead and copper rule, that the EPA has pushed down to all the states to replace all the lead lines. LCRI, lead and copper rule improvements, goes into effect next fall. So it's right around the corner, and that activates a 10-year replacement period where all lead service lines have to be replaced from 2027 to 2037. That's the way the rule stands right now. So the state has gotten funding, procured, is that what we're talking about?
Time out, no,
We're not?
we're on Riverside Park Road.
Riverside Park, yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay. I'm
You
sorry.
jumped ahead one.
I jumped ahead one line there,
No,
okay,
I was looking,
sorry
you're
about
going,
that.
wait a minute there.
You're,
Okay, sorry about that.
oh, that's fine.
Riverside Park Road improvements. Okay, so I met with, that's the middle of my report here. I met with the committee to look over and as well as Chelsea and Adam to look over the Riverside Park Road project. That project, we're having some settlement happening along the road. So that's the purpose behind that. The city was awarded a grant from the DOT, Special Road Funds grant. It's a 60-40 matching grant to address the issues there. So what we're trying to do is improve the surface water drainage. Went over the project plans, like I said, with Larry was there and Adam and Chelsea, and discussed what we're gonna do there. So that meeting was Tuesday, July 7th, so last week. The plans and specs were updated, and then I have cost estimate here too. I'm not sure if this made it to everybody, but I'll pass that out if it wasn't. But
Thank you.
there has been a version of this floating around. This one was as of last Friday. So
It's the same one as the meeting?
it's a little bit different. I updated it after what we talked about at the meeting. So essentially, what we're doing is, like I said, some surface water drainage improvements. We're gonna remove part of the road that has settled and replace it. Part of it's a large valley gutter that we're gonna be putting, longitudinally, like lengthwise down the road to catch that drainage that comes off the road, the hill. And catch that into a valley gutter and then get it into a inlet and get it out to the river. So on the first bold line on the bottom is the estimated construction costs plus contingencies is the second bold line. And then the grant, minus the grant. Add in the engineering costs, and then the final cost on the bottom is the 231 for these improvements.
Do you have pictures to show everybody what you're looking at doing? I mean, I have this.
I don't have the plans with me, Larry, if you have them.
Those were
are gonna be
mailed
better.
or emailed out.
Has everybody seen the plans?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
To be honest, I don't remember. So
If
If
not,
there
I
is
can
any-
always forward out that email.
that would be great. Just to
Okay.
see what it looks like, I think.
Sure.
Was that where the drainage
Okay.
comes out from underneath,
Okay.
out into the river? My river right?
So the water runs down that road and out that hill really bad, so what we're trying to do is catch that water and get it out so it's not running across the road and down the hill
Right.
like it does.
Yeah.
And the goal is to reduce, as much as possible the settlement that's going on. And then we're gonna fix the road that's settled. So that's the goal with this, so we're gonna be utilizing pretty much the full grant on this. But there's still costs to the city for it. The schedule that we're on right now, like I said, we just had our last design review meeting, with the city, last week. And then, we wanna advertise this project over the next 3 weeks and then do a bid opening on August 6th. That's the schedule. So, the contractor would have until, early next construction season to finish, although we would prefer if the contractor got the work done this year if possible. So they'll have, once we get contracting done, bid awarded at your next commission meeting. And then contracting would probably take a couple weeks after that, and then they would be able to start work before the end of August, I think.
Yep.
So, this work should take about a month if they're working on it the whole time.
Yep.
But we don't know what that schedule's gonna be like until we actually would award something to a contractor.
So, just to state, so when we did this street improvement down there, we kept some of the water back, and now that water is draining down and then crossing over the road, which is creating the sloughing. So, we're fixing an issue that we kind of created, but this should take care of it. Because on one of the curbs, just off of down from the ferry boat where that drains, in the park, it's slough there, so we're getting now all this controlled runoff. And some of it is, we're not controlling, and that's what's causing the road. To where the water runs over the road, then it softens the underside.
So a couple of things that
The
have happened.
foundation.
Anytime that you have a wet year on a riverbank like this, it's gonna move more. Anytime you have a wetter year than normal. The other thing is, about 10 years ago, we paved that road. So when you add the impervious surface, it's gonna speed up and allow more of that surface runoff and less of it to soak in. So that's gonna have an impact on it too. So these changes, these improvements are to help remedy that.
Yeah.
So, and then there's like a pipe down there that's kind of pulled apart too, so we're gonna try to fix that as well. That's in the plans. The main thing I guess on this one was to let you guys know we had the design review meeting with the city committee and representatives. The cost estimates attached, the plans and specs are being finalized right now. Jason's gonna be stamping those. If he hasn't done it today, he'll do it tomorrow. And then this will be advertised over the next 3 weeks in the paper. And then we would look to award it at the next commission meeting. So as long as everyone's still okay with that schedule and that decision.
So I was at that meeting with Eric and the crew, and then Eric and I actually went down there and looked at those over. I mean, I really think this is a very, very expensive Band-Aid on a broken arm, quite honestly. This, you know, we're looking at $231,000, that's our cost. You know, I think our money could be spent way better somewhere else. You know, the road is not that dire, there needs to be some improvement there, but, not for this much. I think we are just way out of touch on this one. You know, he did say, you know, there's some culvert ends that need to be fixed, which I absolutely agree with. You know, if you look at the way the road comes down that hill, you have drainage that goes into those culverts, the other one goes before the ferry boat. You know, and then after that, after the ferry boat, it goes in. You know, hey, it's a pretty expensive Band-Aid, quite honestly, and we're still not dealing with the actual reason why it's sinking. You know, I suggested at that meeting possibly, you know, doing some core samples just to see how bad it is down there.
Yep,
You
and
know.
we sent out an RFP to 3 different geotech
Yeah.
companies to provide a quote for doing that.
Mhm.
Way back in the beginning of this, one of the suggestions was to do a geotech study with instrumentation to show where the slip planes were, why this was moving,
Right.
where it was at. You know, so we had quotes for that study to do. We didn't go forward with that.
Yeah, that was like $80,000.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we said absolutely not.
It's a year-long geotech study with
Yeah, no.
instrumentation placed 3 different locations. So that's why the cost on it. And I had multiple quotes for that too from different geotech specialists. But yeah, I mean, I agree. This is something I've commented from the very beginning on. Something like this, when you're on a riverbank, it's going to move. You can see that on every community along the Missouri River throughout North Dakota, where you'll see riverbank sliding happen. So it's not uncommon. But again, we went out and got this grant to do some improvements and fixes, but ultimately it's up to the city on what you want to do.
Yeah.
Now, this is an estimate, so if the city wanted to still bid this, if that's still something you want to go forward with, I'm not saying you're gonna do one or the other, but we could bid it and see what the bids come out to be.
The thing is though, isn't this 231,000, that's after the grant.
That's
That's
after
the grant.
Correct.
So,
We did, say way back when we first started doing this, we do have $125,000 in, PRADOC funding that we were gonna put towards this, which would bring our cost down to 117 of how the city would still have to figure out how to pay for that.
And this,
I'm not sure if there's other, I haven't really checked, I guess, other money out there that we've received from the state. Most of our ARPA money went towards our PRB project, but I do know we have at least 125,000 sitting in our PRADOC funding that we kind of designated towards this if we were gonna pursue this, so just, I guess, information for if you guys weren't aware of
But
that.
ultimately, even if we did this, not saying it's not gonna, we don't have to fix it, it could be.
There's a chance that it wouldn't fix all the issues, yes.
That's just-
I mean, it could for 15 years, it could, I don't know.
yeah, it's
That's
hard
his,
to-
that's
it's
his
hard to say.
expertise, not mine.
hard to say.
Yeah, and I've commented on that before, you know, this will definitely improve the situation, but nothing's guaranteed, when you're on a riverbank, like this, so, you know, so, but it's ultimately up to the city if they wanna utilize that grant and do the improvements that they can. So,
Well, if we see what the bids come in at, that'll tell us too
right,
if we wanna go forward or we can say no, so.
and even, let's just say you go forward, you get bids and we're like, those are pretty good bid prices, they're better than Eric's estimate, but they're still high. Maybe we could rebid it and say, hey, we only wanna do this, cause like one of the things, we added that pavement, you know, to the parking area in front of the playground, so that's another reason why the cost is higher than what it was before, is when you add more asphalt, it's gonna cost more money, so.
Where that gravel is down by that play area, we looked at just going in and paving all of that if we were gonna do the work, just to get all that gravel out of there.
Yeah.
Just for, clarity, I guess, on that.
Buy us more time.
But I think we should go forward and get the bidding process, see where the numbers come in. And then the commission can make the decision either to go forward or not.
So I have a question about that, because if we get bids in and we don't really wanna rebid it, it has to go through the whole 2 weeks out again. right, Chelsea, where it's publicized out again through the newspaper and all of that, okay.
Yeah, but then we would possibly make changes on what we wanna do if, now that Larry's on the street portfolio, he says, well, can we cut this out or do something different? Chances are we wouldn't rebid it exactly the same, but that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna bid it a certain way, it's tough to remove things after you bid it. You'd have to not award it and then rebid it again with things removed.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you have to do, unless you can come to, it can get a little bit tricky there when you have a contractor that, say that you have multiple contractors that bid on it and then one wins, and then you go back and you change things after the fact, that can get a little bit
Be
messy,
bad,
but.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of it that, you know, we could hire locally to get done, like fixing those into those culverts. I mean, obviously Chris can do that, you know, we can haul in some material there if we're worried about the actual right along the road, you know.
Yep. I agree.
You know, it's, like I say, it's just a lot of money that we could be spending somewhere else. We have roads in this town that are dying bad.
And that's one of the things I wanna discuss with you at a later time about money that we could spend to maintain our roads
Yeah,
longer, so
absolutely.
we're not in this cycle of replacing asphalt all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just wanna make sure that we're okay with still advertising this.
So we'll have to go to a vote, you know, because it's spending money.
I'll
Or
make a
continue
motion,
to spend money. So.
I'll make a
Wanna
motion
wait for
that,
Chelsea to get back?
oh, sure. That's fine. Anybody else need a break?
I'll take a quick break. What the heck?
Okay.
My legs are getting awful stiff.
It's nice to officially welcome you back. Can't wait to that part.
Eric, when do you think you're gonna be back in Washburn again? Do you have any
Yes,
things scheduled?
yep, next week, Tuesday, I'll be back in to talk more about the, lead line stuff.
Okay.
So the lead surface line inventory, the contract that we have through the state to update Washburn's inventory. So that's a project that we're doing, it's not costing the city anything. We have to do a closeout of that, so we've updated the inventory again, and before we submit it to the state, I wanted to go over that with at least Adam and Chelsea to look at what we were showing for inventory. It has not changed very much at all. You know, so we, that second round, we came out and did in another inventory door to door, but we still have unknown service lines out there.
Okay.
Yep.
Larry, just a little bit. So Eric's gonna be back in town next week, Tuesday. If you and I could meet,
I've checked my schedule, like,
okay,
but yeah, probably.
but then I can discuss the chip sealing issue.
Sure.
And then I'll give you that information beforehand, then you can go around and inspect the streets.
Sure.
And then we can discuss that more with Eric on Tuesday.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, so we just wanted to make sure if the city wants us to still advertise that project for bidding, so that's what's on the table right now. Cause that's what we'll do next, if that's the case.
I'll make a motion to go forward with the bidding process.
How much, what is that, does that cost a lot too or not?
So that'll be, we'll have to advertise it in the paper, and then, you know, three weeks.
3 weeks per
Yep,
project.
and then the engineering cost for just doing the bid opening. That we already have a contract with you guys on, so.
I will second that, so that we at least get some numbers and information.
Any other discussion?
Oh, like I said, my only thing is, you know, if the city was money rich, you know.
Well, it's not that we have to approve the
No, I know, I'm
the
just saying,
contract,
just saying.
This is, you know, we've been talking about this issue since back when you were president.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, I mean, we've got a lot of, we got a lot of equipment we need to replace too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot. It's old. Anyway, go ahead.
Any more discussion? Larry,
No,
Brandon,
Yes.
and yes.
We'll get that in the paper this week.
Yep. Thank you. You wanna talk about lead lines more?
Yeah, I'm sorry about
Thanks
that.
for, no, that's okay. I was like, what?
Yeah,
My
you're-
last
We all
word
need to
was on
hear it,
the,
so.
on the
Yeah.
thing, so. Yeah, so lead line replacement costs, so, Chelsea and Adam have been tracking this with me, from the very beginning. But essentially, like I already gave you my spiel on the LCRI, we have 16 lead lines that we know of in Washburn, okay? So LCRI goes into effect next, lead and copper improvements goes into effect next fall. And that will start the 10-year clock on replacing them. So what we did is we went out and put in for an SRF loan from the state that has 66% loan forgiveness. So the point of that and those funds would be utilized to replace the lead lines that the city has. Now, another component of LCRI is if we have an unknown starting when the rule goes into effect, the unknowns are assumed to be lead, which is kind of a pain in the butt that's the stance that it is, but that's the way that the rule's set up. So those funds could also be used for potholing to identify unknown service lines. Because we've exhausted all of our efforts looking at records to try to figure out what these service lines are, right? So one of the things that we've done, just for your guys' information, like we looked at any record drawings the city has. We looked at historical imagery. The lead ban in North Dakota went into effect in 1989, so any building that was constructed after that time, we were able to eliminate that from being a lead line. We looked through if there was an ordinance or if there was city specifications that would say at a certain date that the city was going to be using copper or the city was going to be using poly, whatever. So we went through all of that first to get to where we're at. Despite that effort, we still have about 650 service lines in Washburn, between 600 and 650. We have 375 unknowns on the utility side. The utility side of the service line is between the water main in the street and the curb stop in the boulevard. Usually it's in the boulevard. On the customer side, we have 29 unknowns. So we did a lot better there because we were able to do the surveys and we were able to go door to door. That's what we did in our last effort. But there's still 29 service lines that are unknown on the private side between the curb stop and the home. So that's one area where we could improve. Now I know that there's some buildings that are abandoned that we identified also. I think when we were doing this effort, there might have been people that were out of town or buildings unoccupied. So we could gain some ground there, but I guess the what I'm trying to get across to you guys is, and what Chelsea's wanting to know is, if it's 66% loan forgiveness for this funding, how does the city want to cover the 34% paying portion of that loan? So the city's approved up to $540,000 is how much they could get, but not saying you have to borrow that much. If you have 16 lead service lines, and let's just say it costs $10,000 to replace a service line, which is a good round estimate, that's somewhat close to what we've seen things will cost. That's $160,000. Okay, so you'd have to come up with 34% of that 160. So you're looking at like 50-something thousand.
Adam has a good idea. I guess I'll let him explain it. He kind of put it together, and I don't know was this stated at a conference or did you come up with this on your own?
No. I did some research into this a couple years ago when I first started, and a popular option would be to have the homeowner pay a flat fee, like $500, and then the city would pay the rest. That's what a lot of places were doing. I don't know what they're doing now. I haven't really looked into it, but it seems reasonable. Just to make sure that that we get these done and we just present people with a reasonable cost to do it. And then have the city pay the rest, and that way we can put this behind us.
So the good thing about that, doing that is, you know, if you're gonna be replacing a homeowner's service line on their property, you have to have their, consent to do that.
Exactly.
And the easier that we can make it on the residents, financially, the more likely they are to agree to have it done. If it's not a good enough motivator, that lead is a toxic, substance, it's not good for you, you don't wanna have a lead line. So that would make it easier. There's some other ways that that could be used to generate funds, if the city wanted to put, you know, you could have like a service line maintenance fee or something added to the water bill that could generate, funds for that. But that's really up to the city on how they wanna do that. But it is an important thing, and we do have, like I said, good funding for it, so, just making a decision on how they wanna cover the cost for that.
What kind of a time frame is it gonna take to replace these lead lines?
I mean, if you have a so there's a contractor in Bismarck right now that's been doing lead service line replacements over the last few years in a row. They could easily get 16 done in one construction season. That wouldn't be a problem for somebody like them, as long as you can get them on the schedule. That's one thing that we're, you know, kind of watching is what's the contractor availability to do this, because every town, every city is gonna have to do the same thing, right? So you would like to get the contractors before somebody else gets them, right? But I know there's local contractors around here too that probably can do this work as well, so you know that's something the city can consider, but depending on the contractor's abilities. I know there's contractors out there right now that can do 16 lead lines in one season. That wouldn't be a problem. Yeah. So, but like I said before, the city has till 2037 to get this done. I'm more worried about all the unknowns the city has right now than the ones that we do know of. Just because there's gonna be some more lead lines we find, but they make us change them from unknown to lead on the inventory, which is a big pain, you know.
But we can't wait until like 2035 to start, because we have to have 3% done every year.
Yeah.
We have wiggle room in there, but they're, asking that you have at least 3,
Well, 10% done per year, for 10 years, yeah.
so, I mean, there's some wiggle room there, but we don't wanna push it off.
And the cost is probably only gonna go up with inflation. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, yep, no
Thank you,
problem.
Adam.
Don't we actually need to say how we're?
Yeah, I guess I would.
Yeah, the commission needs to make a decision, because that has to be stated on our loan application when it gets submitted to the state as to how the city is going to fund it. So we have to have this for us to have our final meeting next week for that loan application to fully be submitted to the state.
So then what you're saying is $500 homeowner, and what, are we gonna take the rest out of water funds or what?
I think so.
Are they
Yes.
enterprise fund, I guess?
Yeah, the water budget, basically, whatever.
Works for me. Yeah, one motion, we do that, 500 and.
What is in there?
I'll second
I mean, just out of curiosity, Chelsea, what's in our water fund that covers it? Enough that would cover it?
It will, yeah, it's enough, I guess
Cause I have no idea.
it's in your cash report that you get every
Now,
month.
do we have a ballpark estimate of the replacement?
Yeah, so what I stated before is right now we know of 16 when I last checked the map, but maybe it's less than that now. And I would estimate about $10,000 a piece to do that. You might get a contractor that can do it for less than that, but I've seen plus or minus a few $1,000s on the $10,000 mark for replacing a service line from the water main to the home. Now, you have to go into the home, and you gotta have a licensed plumber in there that makes the connection, and everything has to be documented, so, like I say, I've looked at, a lot of costs that's a good round number to use, so if you're just looking at that, you know, it's 16 times 10,000, so.
And then does the cost vary at all if there's so many in line? Do we have that issue to where, you know, we have 4 houses in a row that all have lead line? Or are they just sporadic?
They're mostly in the older part of town, like along Main Street.
Okay.
Fourth, I think, has a few. Main Street, Fourth.
Okay, so this is from the main, correct?
Yeah, so, it would, if we know that it's non-lead on the private side, then we would only focus on the street. So of course, we could probably save some money on that cost if it's just replacing half the line, but we would need to verify that it actually is non-lead on the private side as well.
So if it's in the street, then they don't pay the 500?
That's up to the city, I guess, on how they wanna handle that.
Probably not.
Cause I think the city's ordinance is the homeowner is responsible from the curb stop to the home,
Mm.
so.
Very good. Okay, so you got the motion down, right?
I'll second Larry's motion.
You already did.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I got the motion.
Okay, any other discussion? Not hearing any, Larry?
Yes.
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 And yes.
Okay, so update on the street and drainage improvements project. Background on this project, for Larry, I think you're well aware of it, but for Mitch, Heritage Heights, just north of the Highway 83, Custer Drive, Heritage Drive, and Woodgate, they're all in pretty rough shape. The plan was to replace those roads and to add some drainage improvements, because there is some drainage issues up there. Couple meetings ago, public input meeting, we heard a lot of feedback. People did not want the project for the cost that it was. They especially did not want the drainage improvements, but there was definitely interest in the street improvements to go forward. So we went back to the drawing board on this. We eliminated some of the drainage improvements, but we also added Progress Drive, which is that very short street off of Custer on the north end. And then we added the Dakota Drive intersection with Highway 83. And then there was a sanitary sewer extension that the city wanted to have added in there. And that sanitary sewer extension would essentially get the sewer out of Dakota Drive, Heritage Drive intersection and get it out into the ditch so that we could extend that sanitary sewer to the southeast.
I'd have to look at the map.
Yeah, it's
It's a stub, basically.
it's a stub.
Yeah.
So on that, the added cost would be quite a bit for the sanitary sewer extension, and this is why. When you have SRF dollars, the state revolving fund dollars, you have to get DEQ approval when you do anything sanitary sewer or water. On this project, we were only gonna do streets and drainage improvements. Adding even, and I talked to the SRF engineer on this. I asked him what we would all need to do. He said, well, you're now gonna take on American Iron and Steel, Build America,
Oh, yeah.
BABA requirements, Davis-Bacon requirements, and we would have to do a full environmental review. So having said that, it would cost a lot more money to get the project in compliance with their specifications, and you would have a contractor now that would be held to those American Iron and Steel and BABA requirements, which that limits where they can get their materials from when you're doing that. So I would not recommend doing that sanitary sewers extension, and that's why I'd recommended it in the first place. Now, if you still wanted to do the Dakota Drive intersection, that still could be done. You would just do the sanitary sewer extension with another contractor, not in this project.
Let's just do that then.
And I think that would be the better way to do it, because you guys want that done, right? But
Well, it
we
needs to
would
be done if the
rather
road's
have it.
getting replaced, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, have it, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't wanna dig it up in 2 years or 3 years.
Correct. So, and if that's the that's the case, and that makes sense to you guys,
Yeah.
I would just take that out, and we could
Yeah,
the
we'll
plan
just do it
sheet
ahead of time.
the plan sheet we have prepared, we could provide to the city, and we could get a contractor locally that could do that work. And it would save a lot of headache for a bigger project. You don't wanna hold a bigger project to all of those requirements. It would just balloon the cost up more, and so. Okay, so that was the first thing I wanted to make sure. I did update the cost estimate. The cost of the project did come down. right around 4 million total. We eliminated the detention pond, even with adding all that other stuff. So.
Excuse me, that's 4 million for both the street and the drainage?
Street and drainage,
Got it.
yes.
Okay.
Yep, so, so that was an improvement. Taking the sanitary sewer out of it will bring that cost down further, if we're to do that. Of course, if the city wants it done, we can provide that sheet and we can have somebody come and do it. It would definitely need to be surveyed though, to make sure that we get the grades and lines correct on any sewer that's put in. So, the next thing that comes up with that project is schedule and funding. So the SRF funding should not be a problem on this. We're working on, now that I have the decision on the sanitary, I can get the SRF approval process going again. BND, we had to return our funding allocation from Bank of North Dakota. Bank of North Dakota was gonna fund the asphalt portion. SRF fund was gonna fund the drainage portion and any asphalt that's above the drainage portions, like your storm sewer and stuff. Otherwise, the streets are your most expensive cost to this project. BND has a 2% loan, which is, you can't beat that. So that's what we're trying to do for funding the streets. So we will have to reapply that application. What is it, Kylie, I think?
Kylie, yep.
Kylie at BND has said
Yes.
is that November of 2026, Abby talked to her,
Okay,
we can reapply for BND funding. So that's a good thing, because when I last talked to Kylie, that wasn't the case. That is something that we'll work on getting reallocated.
perfect.
And then we will look at reapplying for the DOT Flex Fund grant. And you know, we've tried twice and haven't gotten it, so maybe third time's a charm, but we're gonna look to reapply on that one again.
They don't know the exact date of when it needs to be applied.
For the DOT Flex Fund grant, it's not expected until the summer of 2027. So, yeah, so that's where I have on here, schedule 2027 or 2028 construction. If the city wanted to wait until we get an application in for the DOT Flex Fund grant, now their schedule could change. I don't know that we could build this project next year if we don't have that, if we're waiting on an answer on that grant. It would probably be pushed to 2028.
Okay.
So
Is
there's, you know,
Is there a percentage that Flex Fund grant would provide, or is it just you ask for a certain amount, or how would that work?
you ask for a certain amount. I'm really trying to
Do we have
see how to, what is gonna, you know, get them going to support the city on this. What the DOT likes to see is, if it's something supporting a highway, or if it's not, see, these are residential streets. And that's what it really counts against the city on this, is that, I know other towns that have gotten awarded this, it's either a main feeder right to a highway or a highway that goes through the town.
Sure.
Like the example that I know of is Beach, North Dakota got a really good Flex Fund grant, but it was, a portion of it was the highway that goes through their town. So they were awarded a good chunk of change on that, but a lot of people apply for this grant and there's only so many dollars that are out there. So, you know, we'll work on getting that application, as best as we can and try to apply again, but, we haven't been too high on the list the last two times, so. But, we'll keep, you know, trying for it. I think we're gonna get the BND funding, so don't worry about the bonding thing, but, for funding, cause right now the interest rates are 5.5%, 6%, so we wanna avoid that at all
Yes,
costs,
yes.
so. So I guess what I would like to do is we wanna have another public input meeting. We had that one before, but I think we need to make sure that everyone is well up to speed. If people still want these streets replaced, it's nice to know that we have the support, because we don't wanna keep going through the process of this and then being shut down before we bid the project.
Right.
Cause we're just wasting everybody's time and money by doing that. So, I guess I wanna see what the commission would be interested in doing, for this. I can definitely do a presentation on the project, and if this place isn't big enough, if we wanna, you know, utilize Memorial Hall or whatever we gotta do, I can have Abby there, she can talk through the finances better than I can. So is that something that the commission would be interested in doing? And if so, when would you like to do something like that?
So you're talking this as the total package, right? Wasn't there some talk before about separating the street and the drainage?
Yes, so what we can do, and the last cost estimate I did do didn't separate those, but what we would like to do is get support from the McLean County Water Board to help with the portion of the water that is coming through town from the county. So that would be separated out. I'm just showing you total project costs.
Right.
I know the city talked about putting in a portion, and this is what you're getting at, Larry, I think, is showing people what this will cost them, and we absolutely will run those numbers again before we have a public input meeting. We'll have that well known. But what we wanna do is separate the drainage improvements. We know we wanna have drainage improvements. People aren't as excited to do the drainage improvements, but I think they're needed. It's gonna help lengthen the life of the streets up there that you're spending a lot of money to fix. But we wanna separate the portion of the cost that is coming from, that's managing the water that's coming from out of town.
Right.
Now, a storm sewer, it sounds like the water board would not be, that's not something that they'd be helping out with.
Right.
But, you know, if there needs to be a conversation on that, if you wanna limit scope on storm sewer improvements, we can look at that too, cause storm sewer is expensive, can't hide that, that is what it is, so.
Well, I guess as long as their drainage comes right through, you know, that culvert, you know, that affects the storm sewer, so.
I guess the problem is that it's been half clogged or something of that nature. So we'd have to maintenance that more.
I mean, not any more than we already do, there's a drain that's in the field that you're referring to, that's just to east of Custer Drive. That drains that field and it brings the water to the ditch in Rough Rider, right? So yeah, I mean, that would have to be maintained. The other thing to consider is the city's talked about for many years now, developing that area up there. And if there was gonna be another development up there, then we would have to look at a drainage plan as part of any development you do.
Right.
You know, whether that's the city approves a contractor to come in to do the development or the city does it themselves.
And those were the numbers that you brought last meeting, right? For,
I brought you numbers for finishing the Heritage Heights development, yeah,
Okay.
and that was like 3 blocks of water main,
right,
3 blocks of 3 or 3.5 blocks of
for
street.
those that don't know, like, and well,
yeah.
I'm not sure if Larry knows. So like
I think
that's,
it's, yeah, you're probably familiar with it. The Heritage Height development, finishing that up there,
cause that's where the
You're talking
empty
like,
lots are,
just on the far east,
Mhm.
right up,
where those
where those,
hydrants are.
I wonder if.
Oh,
I
like
could
right,
bring this up.
or
Yeah,
just there,
right
here?
there, right there, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought maybe you were talking about the rest of that, but yeah.
And it was like 2 blocks of
Yeah,
sewer.
that'd be expensive up
Right.
there.
Was that was last meeting, right? That was the 8th, is that right? That we saw that? It's right here. So if you guys need to see it, this is the numbers, right? That we were talking about?
Mm.
So this is for, does it have a drawing here? I don't know.
What's
if
the
it has.
numbers on, what is the total on
This
that?
one is from back in June 8th's meeting. And then the number total at the bottom here was 266.
How much?
Is that just for sanitary sewer, probably?
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. I'm sorry, that's the sewer. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, okay,
So this is this is where I was laughing at that, because I'm like, water improvement here, this one is the 438.
And that's for 3 blocks of water main,
Right.
and hydrants
And
and
then we
service lines.
have,
There's like 1.3 million total.
yeah, and there's 964, what is this one?
Yeah.
It's probably for the streets.
This is for the streets, yeah.
got it, okay, thank you.
So that was another thing, and I think that's something the city would like to have as a development. And, you know, there's demand for homes from what I understand, but that's another cost that, you know, the city would,
Yeah.
if the city wanted to develop it, or if a contractor wanted to come in, or a developer wanted to come in and do it, they could do it as long as the city approved it, I guess.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, so again, I guess what I'm looking for is, I got the feedback on the sanitary sewer, which I'm grateful for. And we'll update, we're gonna get the plans to 100% and the cost estimate to 100%. That's my next steps. And then that public input meeting, I'd like to schedule something, or at least, it sounds like everyone's
It's a good
in
idea.
agreements
Yeah.
that we should do one of those. And wouldn't be on a commission meeting night, right? But
No.
at
It
some,
would be
some
a
point in time, we would like to schedule that, so. I think what I can do is put some stuff together and then, next meeting, we can talk about scheduling it. But if you guys all have feedback on what night you'd like that to be, or what you'd like it to look like, just let me know. I can put something together, but I would rather, I like to have your guys' feedback on how you want it to go. So,
I think we can be in contact with you and between Chelsea,
Schedule.
we can schedule a date.
what I think we could do is between August and September, sometime between August and September commission meetings. If we think we need more time, then we could probably go between September and October, but I think the earlier we get reestablish the public, the better, if this is something that the city wants to pursue.
That sounds good.
So I will be in touch with Adam and Chelsea on that. Please, if you're getting feedback from the public, I would love to hear what you guys are hearing. I don't like hearing, you guys are hearing from people probably every day, so.
Most people, yes, the most people that I've talked with about it, they wanna know everything that's going on with it. Now they're like really antenna up, they're just,
Yeah.
we wanna know. Like, okay. So I think it's a good call.
The only other thing that I missed on there was resolutions. We're gonna have to do those again. If the city wants to go forward with this project, we'll have to do that again. And I'm hoping that Mr. Lindell can be here when we have
So I
those.
do have one question, like about these particular grants that we have. I know I understand the funding and how the Bank of North Dakota has really good interest rate, which I would not disagree with. I understand that. Is the DOT, is that the only grant that we can actually apply for what we're looking to do? Like, is there anything else that we can do for,
Grant money for city utilities,
is it just,
especially streets,
it's just very
very,
limited?
very, very few and far between.
Yeah.
If you're talking about residential streets,
Right.
there is a lot of like low interest funding, like loans that you can get for utilities. Streets is even worse. So like B&D really is the best option, and this DOT grant is not that.
Easy to get.
It's not that easy to get. It's a newer thing. The state recognized that, you know, redoing streets costs a lot of money, and I'm glad that they have this grant program out there, but there isn't a lot.
And
for it.
we won't really,
Like the special road funds grant that we got through the DOT for the Washburn Riverside Park Road project that we were just talking about. That was a specific thing for the city scored points on you're by a river, you're by a park, you're by a fishing pier, you're by, like, you have all this, you have the river boats, like all of those things played into that, the city winning that grant. So that's why they got that one. But it's very specific, that's to that road. So,
just wanted to understand
Yeah.
how that works.
yeah,
Cause then this is technically like, I mean, even if we get the grant funding, we're looking at doing work as early, even if everything goes smoothly, cause that would be next summer.
yeah, 2027, so
So we're looking,
big picture, on this schedule, we wanna get the plans and specs done, we wanna get our SRF, funding back in place.
Right.
As soon as the B&D funding, the application window opens, we're gonna apply for that. And then it's really the public input meeting and making
Right.
sure everyone's, I mean, at least a majority of people are on board with it. And then we look at advertising it, you know, late winter, early spring.
okay,
And then awarding a contract, you know, late spring, beginning of construction
so
season.
if everything goes to plan, the earliest that we would actually be looking at would be next fall at the earliest, at the very earliest. If we actually got,
I would say, building this in next construction
Yeah.
season, yeah. Unless we get some really good, intel that the city's gonna get awarded this grant in the next grant period, which I can't tell you that.
that's okay,
Wish I
I'm
could,
just wanting to know how that works.
Yeah, yeah.
So that there's a realistic expectation and time frame.
Yeah.
So that people understand that part, cause I can,
Yep.
I can help explain some of that to people when they
Yeah.
ask me questions about
Yeah, we would like to do this project next summer, if possible. And I think a lot of people would like that done too.
Everybody would like that, yeah.
So we kind of missed our opportunity this year with just the way that everyone was on, how the project was presented and kind of where people were at on it and what they were able to digest at the time, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry for all of that, but yeah, unless you have
It's
any
all
other
right.
questions, that's all I got for you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to number 19, portfolios.
I have nothing.
Everyone's.
Got nothing.
Brandon?
Nope, I don't got nothing either this time.
I was wondering how everything went with the drainage that we were talking about fixing for the library. Do you know anything
We
else?
haven't had time to get over there yet.
Okay.
And the only, are you done?
That
Okay.
was the only thing I had,
I
other
don't,
than
the water valve on Fourth that was leaking, you know, it was kinking and by Everly's.
It was the valve, it was a broken pipe.
Oh, was it a broken pipe?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So when is that gonna, the dirt work gonna be?
Until the fall at least, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, it's Larry's, but when is potholing gonna start? Potholes around town patching.
Patching, I've got the list together. I need to send it in to Darren. Usually it's September, October.
Okay. All right. All right.
So I have a quick question about, well, some of that, I mean, is that all around Washburn that we're planning to do it then?
Wherever it's
So,
needed.
Yeah, wherever
Okay.
see potholes. They pop up different spots.
Do you think we can squeak in what needs to be done for the library so I don't have to worry about it every time it rains?
It's been an issue for decades, and we've tried several fixes that haven't held up. We've got a plan, but we need to get a day where I can get two people for the whole day, basically.
Okay.
Way to push it.
Yeah.
Let's get it fixed.
Well,
You don't want moldy books, right?
There ain't no books in the basement.
No,
moisture is fun with
in
books.
the building, yeah.
The one's better.
All right, you wanna talk about your superintendent report?
Yeah, if you got any questions, it's not much to it. We got our mastic machine next week. We won't be starting next week, but we're getting trained on it next week, so we'll have a better idea of what the process is like. And then probably the week after.
Sounds good. All right, Chelsea, you have?
Currently working on our budget. I have most of it put together. If there are any additional requests, I guess that you guys wanna see, please get those into me. So I can make sure those get added. We will have to set our public hearing date for that, at our next meeting, but, also we'll be looking for a new special assessment committee member again. So if anybody is interested in serving on the special assessment committee, please submit a letter of interest. We want to get that filled hopefully as soon as possible. I think that's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else have any other thing to talk about? Okay, next meeting is August 10th, meeting adjourned.